Are you ready to take your moving company to the next level? Then you won't want to miss the Grow Your Moving Company workshop, hosted by MOVEITPRO. This 2-day event is packed with insights, strategies, and tips on how to streamline your operations, maximize your profits, and take your business to new heights. At the Grow Your Moving Company workshop, you'll hear from experts who have been in your shoes and know what it takes to succeed in this competitive industry. You'll get insider knowledge on how to generate leads, close more deals, and build a brand that sets you apart from the rest. So don't wait. Head over to growworkshop.moveitpro.com to register for the event today. That's growworkshop.moveitpro.com. We'll see you there.
Welcome to the Moving Company Owners Podcast, where we dive deep into the world of moving companies and the people who make them run. From industry leaders to successful moving company owners, we explore their stories, strategies, and insights to help you grow your business and take it to the next level. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned veteran, this is the podcast for you. So sit back, relax, and get ready to move your business forward with your host, Jason Bergenske.
Hey guys, Jason Bergenske here from the Moving Company Owners Podcast. Today we have Shawn and Shawn Moving, which is also in Florida, also where I'm from and was born and raised. And today we have Rae with us. Good to have you with us, Rae.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Good. Today kind of to start it off, we're kind of interested to hear, and what we usually do is kind of find out a little bit about your moving company. How you were, founded, when you were founded, and kind of how you guys got in the moving business. So I'll go ahead and give the mic to you.
Okay. We started in August of 2005. It was father and son. Our son actually went out and helped another gentleman, and he's like, hey, you and your dad could do this. So they actually got started in our son's pickup truck, and from there started doing deliveries. The deliveries turned into moves, and here we are 17 years later, still going strong with 8 trucks and a van.
That's fantastic. And so you said you guys, or your son and your husband, I guess, started in 2005. So that was obviously right before, the recession here in most of the country, I would assume. Florida, obviously, we got hit pretty hard. I owned a moving company during that time, J&J Metro, which had been open since the 60s. And that was a very hard time for us, for sure. Tell me a little bit as far as, you guys had just gotten started in that. Did that affect you guys much in the 2007 time? I guess you guys had been open a couple of years when the first recession came.
I think because we got started with deliveries and we were heavy on the delivery side, the housing market did not affect us at that point. We were just transitioning into moves. We were doing the ALF's senior moves, which are smaller moves. The deliveries, we were probably 70% delivery, 30% moves at that point.
That's fantastic. Yep. So that's great. And so, fast forward. So your husband and your son had started this in the back of your son's pickup truck and doing deliveries. How far into, after 2005 was it that the moves started coming in, or you guys realized like, oh my gosh, we can start doing full service moves?
The bank calls it an organic growth. We did not grow further than the company allocated. People started requesting services, and we're like, sure, we can do that. Their philosophy when they first started was get her done. So somebody who was delivering said, hey, my sister's moving. Can you help her? So as the moves started growing, they realized that there's more to this. And being family owned and operated, we didn't have employees. So it was not unusual for a daughter to help out on a move 10, 11 o'clock at night. 2 guys weren't getting it done, so they would call in son-in-law, daughter-in-law. They call in the family to get it done. So that was basically the philosophy for the first probably 3 to 5 years.
That's fantastic. Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting because even when I was a kid, our moving business my grandparents started, I remember going out and helping on jobs when I was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, pushing dollies with boxes for big moves that came in, and we didn't have enough people to run them. So I totally get that, and it's neat with the family business. So with your son, obviously had first started in his truck. What was he doing prior to doing the deliveries or starting this business that kind of led him to this? Do you know?
So my son went out to help someone do a delivery, and then he was busy, so they asked his dad to go out on a delivery, and that's when they said, hey, you guys can do this. So it's out of that they just hit the neighborhood and said we could do deliveries for you, and they got started. They didn't really ask anybody, how do you start a moving company? They just hit the ground running, taking care of the community.
They just did it. No, that's fantastic.
So
it's fantastic. So, and we had talked a little bit earlier. So you guys have 2 locations, is that correct?
Yes. Obviously, with fuel and the expenses of running trucks, it became apparent that we were getting a lot of requests out of North County and the county just north of us. So we started looking for a place to start another branch. And so that's why we have the location in Mexico County. And that's an up-and-coming community, with Pinellas being overran and there's no place to grow. So people are going to these other counties, outer counties. So we're kind of beating the rush up there, but you see the new buildings and the new housing, and it's growing. So it was a good place to plant a seed so we can grow with it up there as well.
That's great. And so what do you feel sets you apart from your competitors in both of those areas?
The growing organically. We don't invest in something until we see there's a need. We don't add until it's like growing with the business, not growing ahead of the business. If Shawn and Shawn, the owners, are out on a truck consistently, we need to hire. If we are getting more calls than we have trucks for, we need to get a new truck. We need to add a truck. So it's like growing, adding as the need is, and not growing past it. And just being involved in the community. We go to community events. Largo Central has a Halloween event, and we go out there. There's something called Festival of Trees for the Art Foundation. We deliver their trees at Christmas time for free. Just giving back to the community puts our truck in people's view. So it's just being part of the community.
Attention, moving company owners. Are you tired of managing your business with spreadsheets and pen and paper methods? Do you want to streamline your operations, increase your bookings, and look more professional to your customers? Then it's time to switch to MOVEITPRO software. Our cloud-based platform provides everything you need to manage your moving company in one place, from booking and dispatching to payment processing and customer communication. Plus, with features like GPS tracking, real-time notifications, and detailed reporting, you'll be able to optimize your operations and take your business to the next level. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.moveitpro.com to schedule a free demo today and see how we can help you move your business forward.
That's great. And so, you kind of mentioned, so you guys are at 8 trucks now plus a pack van. And obviously you didn't start off with 8 trucks. So essentially kind of what you're saying, which makes total sense. You guys started off with obviously the pickup truck, I guess, right? And then once the need came, you got 1 truck, and then you added another truck, and you guys just slowly kept adding trucks as your business continued to grow. Is that correct?
Correct. Exactly. Well, as most moving companies know, moving is somewhat of a cash business. So you don't get all this extra overhead and everything. You don't want to grow the business before the business is there, because the only way you have income coming in is by your movers. So just, it's a balance. Yep. It's definitely a balancing act.
Sure. So what marketing channels do you believe have worked well for you guys, which I would consider, like some of those events you're doing for free and delivering and stuff, those are marketing channels. So which ones of those do you feel have worked well? And then which ones do you feel that you guys have done in the past, whether it was advertising or leads or anything like that, that you feel just were terrible or just failed miserably?
You definitely, when you put money into marketing, you have to be able to track it to make sure that you're getting a return on your investment. Nobody has money to spare. We have tried the realtor portfolios things. Those things, sometimes you get a company, you don't even see the end product. It doesn't even come to fruition. Sometimes you see the product, but you don't know that it's being handed out. It could be sitting in a box in somebody's office. Those things never went anywhere with us. The community files, the community magazines, they're nice, but we just don't get the return of investment. Our best marketing tool is being involved in the community, because then they're seeing their movers, taking care of the customers so that they refer their friends and family. We have an 80% return customer base, because while we did a delivery for them, they remember us when we do the move. When we move them, they say, hey, can you do this delivery for me? Being versatile. Can you get my Christmas out of storage? Sure. Can you move my furniture into my spare bedroom while I get my floors done? Once you take care of a customer, they start thinking of you for other services. And being open to that is how you maintain that customer base and that word of mouth. Hey, call them and see if they'll take care of that for you.
Yeah. No, that's great. So, how did you guys figure out your ideal target market? Kind of phrase that. Like, we had spoke earlier, the majority of your business is residential. Is that mainly because that's what you guys are targeting, or that's just kind of how it's just turned out to be, that the majority of your business is residential, other than commercial?
Definitely, because our business started with the deliveries. It was easy. You're now in these homes. So it just made sense that our customer base would be residential. And then when we went out and did the deliveries out at the beaches, condos have very strict regulations. When we respected those rules and adhered to their mini regulations, we got on everybody's referred vendor list. Most of your industries, whether it be consignment stores, condo associations, they all talk. So once you take care of one, they refer you to their other customers, their networking groups. Yeah. So it's always been about taking care of the one, and the rest will follow.
Sure. And so you guys do quite a bit of business, I suppose, in the retirement communities and stuff like that?
It's been a touch and go situation. When we first started out, we partnered with senior management, but our feeling is those senior management companies are not, they're still not around. They're getting less and less. And then the partnering with them, not everybody understood that. So it's a niche for sure. And it's one of those, some years it's higher and some years it's not. So it's not a consistent.
Sure.
We do it. We do take care of them.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's not our main customer line.
Sure. And those were always, the retirement homes were ones that when we owned J&J Metro, that was always a big target for us. We always went after them. And part of that was a couple things, and which this, you guys have done it, but the majority of those moves, they're going to be full packs because usually the elderly are not packing their own stuff, so they're nice size moves. Also, they're moving in and out of those nursing homes, regardless of what's going on, other than COVID, with the economy. If grandma's gotten where she needs to go into Alzheimer's retirement home, she's moving in there regardless if the stock market's down or regardless if the homes aren't closing as fast and stuff like that. So they really, and they happen year round, versus, obviously, 65, 70% of moves happen in our summer, right? Of normal moves. And then our winters traditionally for moving companies are very slow. But nursing homes or retirement homes, they're happening year round. They don't care the time of year. So,
well, that's one of the reasons why that's not one of our main customer lines is, unless we partner with a packing company, we don't pack. Now we have added that.
Gotcha.
Since now we saw that the senior move managers are slowly not around as much as they used to be. So we noticed that that's now becoming a need, and we now have a packing team. So we will be able to get back into servicing those assisted living facilities and those retirement communities. We didn't pack. We've just recently started packing.
That's good. Yeah, packing is something that, was a big part of our business. And so that's great that you guys have started doing it now, because that's definitely going to bring in additional revenue. And you end up getting a lot of higher end moves also, because, a lot of times when you're moving big fancy homes and stuff like that, those people aren't packing themselves.
Oh yeah.
So that's good. So tell me a little bit, obviously you guys have been in business through before COVID and then after COVID. I'd love to hear a couple minutes about how that affected, you guys as a business, you guys as a family. Obviously your whole family's, your husband, your son, yourself are all working in the business, and what that kind of looked like. Obviously you're in Florida like we are. I think it's safe to say that Florida had it easier on the shutdowns than some states.
Yes.
A lot of states were shut down. We obviously, we still own J&J Metro during that time. We were still able to operate. We were considered an essential business like you guys are. Obviously our business slowed way down, but not as bad as a moving company, for instance, in New York or California, where they were really shut down. But yeah, I'd love to hear what your guys' experience was.
Obviously we had to make some adjustments. We were really vigilant about spraying down the trucks, spraying down the offices, checking for temperatures. I mean, your movers are your business. If they get COVID, they're out for 2 weeks, and then they have to be isolated for another 2 weeks on top of that. So we couldn't have COVID go through the moving company and take us out. So we were very vigilant with our COVID protocols in-house. when customers were calling in to book with us, we were asking questions. Are you going to be masked? And being a mover, you don't want to carry a sofa up 6 flights of stairs in a mask. It just really hurts your breathing. So we definitely became more vigilant, but we kept working. And it's like flu season. If somebody calls in sick, we're back to spraying those trucks inside out. Anything they touch, the steering wheel, the doors, spraying hand sanitizers. It's not just COVID. It's got to be year round, because a flu can take out your team. So just being vigilant and taking care of your guys and encouraging them to take care of themselves. Washing your hands. Everything.
Are you a moving company struggling to keep up with customer calls? Let Lion's Den Booking Service handle your overflow, after-hours calls, or even the entirety of your sales. As a call center booking service, we're dedicated to helping your business thrive. With years of experience and a commitment to customer satisfaction, we'll make sure your clients receive the best possible service. Trust us to take your business to the next level. Contact Lion's Den Booking Service today. www.lionsdensales.com.
Yeah. And that you are so right too, because we had some customers of MOVEITPRO that when COVID happened, where one or two of their guys would get COVID. And obviously those guys are real close. They're all in the truck together. They're all in.
Exactly.
Before they knew it, they'd have 10 guys out with COVID. And that can really hurt a moving company, obviously, because if you don't have guys, you can't do moves.
Exactly.
So that was good that you guys, were safe there. And so that's fantastic. Business obviously dipped, I would assume, like most every moving company during those several months, I would assume.
It was tight.
But we all kind of came back. It's weird. After COVID, everyone kind of got real busy, which is good. So that's great. And then obviously I noticed, you guys are a customer of MOVEITPRO. I actually had looked while we were on the call here. You guys actually signed up May 10th of 22. So you're just over a little year. You're 7 days past a year from when you signed up. And so
we didn't really go full-fledged. We kind of tipped around it, and then was like July or August, we just pulled the Band-Aid and so that's why I thought it wasn't until it's like, do we, don't we do? I mean, we finally pulled the Band-Aid in July, August, somewhere in there.
Well, that's good. And so all your guys, you guys are using our app, I guess. So your crew goes out, they have a tablet, they're doing their bill of ladings and all that stuff with?
Yes.
That's great. Well, that's fantastic. We're certainly happy to have you as a customer. So that's great. So perfect. Did you want to tell us, we have one more thing we talk about, which usually I call is the lightning round, which essentially is just some questions to ask you. More personal, just for the viewers to kind of get to know you a little bit. But is there anything else you wanted to tell us as far as your company or, anything about you guys that we kind of missed, or anything that you think would be valuable for people to hear?
I think sometimes moving companies have this idea of once you've moved them, you're never going to see them again. And if we have more of a mindset that this is a potential customer for a lifetime and treated them like that, maybe we can change this feeling that people have about movers. It's we're really fighting this idea, and movers are not just movers. That saying just really makes me crazy. This is a trade. Not everybody can be a mover. I mean, that's why we all have a lot of turnover, because movers and moving is a trade. It's a skilled trade. And we need to support our guys and treat them like they're skilled labor and not just day labor.
Yeah. And I agree with that. A couple things that you said there. One being is everyone cannot do moving. I know that, we'd have times where guys would come in to work and they were fit. I mean, fit guys, like bodybuilders. And so you look at them and you'd be like, man, this guy is really going to do a good job. And they're the ones, they'll make it a half a day and they got to go home because they're not used to using those muscles.
No.
Carrying couches upstairs. And it's funny. And then, it's a big thing that, you got to treat your customers right. And so another thing, and I'll just bring up based on you saying that. So our company was opened in 1968. My grandparents opened it. And so, I had gotten a call one day, and it was a customer that was calling to get an estimate for a job, and they knew they were booking with us, but they just wanted to get an estimate. We ended up doing the move, but we had moved them 32 years prior to this date. We had moved them 32 years ago, and they still had our bill of lading from 32 years ago, and they called the phone number to book. So to think that a customer is not a lifetime customer is a great statement that you said, because it's amazing. And that was probably the longest one that we had. It'd been 32 years since we'd moved them, and we had moved them into that house, and now we were moving them to a retirement home. But so many would call us 10 years later, 5 years later. Their mom would call us, their sister would call us for a move. There is so much more value there for every customer you service than what you realize of what the price of their move is.
Yes.
And then there was people that, and I'm sure you guys have had it, you've been open 17 years. There's people that move every 3 years, and you move them every 3-4 years. Every time they buy a new house, every time they move you, then you're moving their kids.
Yes.
And so a $500 cheap move could turn into a $10,000 move over the time.
Absolutely.
Because you just keep doing moves for them, doing moves for their family and stuff. So I think that's a really good point. And that goes to both. That's going to taking care of your customers because they're repeat customers, hopefully, and taking care of your guys because those are the ones that their customers are building a relationship with when they're out there on the job. Unfortunately, most of the time, our customers that we're moving never meet the office staff. They talk to us on the phone, but they don't meet us. They don't get to see our smile. They don't get to shake our hand unless you go out and do an on-site. But our crew, the guys that are showing up, that are hopefully in uniforms and look, respectable and yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And that's the thing that the customer sees, and that's the representation of what the customer sees of your company. And that is one thing that I think every moving company needs to, not every, but they need to check and make sure that they're doing that because so many companies spend so much time and money on their advertising and their sales team and the people that are on the phones, but then they're picking up day labor guys to go out and do the moves. Well, the customer can tell if they're day labor guys.
Oh, yes. They definitely can.
They can tell that they're not skilled. They can tell that they don't care about the job and stuff like that. So I think that's really really important. So great. So again, the next, I just call it this lightning round. Essentially, I'm going to ask you 6 questions, and it's just kind of whatever comes to your mind first.
Okay.
There's no wrong answer. But yeah. So the first one is, what's the best piece of business advice you have ever received?
Know your numbers. Know your numbers. Marcus Lemonis, know your numbers. No lie. You need to know that your truck fee is covering your truck expenses. You need to know what you're charging per hour is covering your payroll and your overhead. Know your numbers.
Yep, that's great. So what's one characteristic you feel of a successful founder? So one characteristic of a successful founder, do you feel?
Remember your why. You're going to have rough days. You're going to have days where everything goes wrong, like Monday. You're going to have days where going through COVID, you're going to have to remember why you got into this business, and that will carry you through.
That's great. What's your favorite personal productivity tool or habit?
Schedules. Just because every day is different, and foundations, having that place to go to restart when everything goes south. You can pick up where you left off and get back on track. So schedules and procedures.
That's good. And what's a new crazy business idea you'd love to pursue if you had the time? And that may be for you or your son, or but what is there anything out there?
For me personally, seeing how these guys are struggling in the housing market, I would love to get into some like low cost housing. So these single guys don't have to spend their whole entire month's paycheck on housing. Just affordable housing. Yeah. So these guys can survive and have dreams and, pursue things. I mean, they're living paycheck to paycheck. That's nobody's dream. So that's just, my personal thing. See the need, fill the need.
Yeah, no, that's very good. And what's an interesting or fun fact about you most people don't know?
It kind of goes with that. See the need, fill the need. I like, if I hear information and then I hear somebody's dream, I like to match those up. Or even like one of the guys said he wanted to know more about how the market works. So I just bought him a book, Dummies for the Stock Market. So I like to buy books and help people grow as individuals. So it's like, oh, I'll get you a book for that. It encourages reading too. I love to buy people books on things that interest them.
That's awesome. No, you're fine. And what's one of your most important passions outside of work?
My most important, my grandkids, family, community, just seeing how they grow and evolve into young adults. And I volunteer at church, and I've been at my church for several years, and seeing how they grow into individuals and give back in the children's ministry. Yeah. They've gone through it, and then now they're coming back and giving back and volunteering. It's cyclical, and it's so encouraging. With all the garbage out there, it's nice seeing the giving back.
Attention, moving company owners. Are you tired of managing your business with spreadsheets and pen and paper methods? Do you want to streamline your operations, increase your bookings, and look more professional to your customers? Then it's time to switch to MOVEITPRO software. Our cloud-based platform provides everything you need to manage your moving company in one place, from booking and dispatching to payment processing and customer communication. Plus, with features like GPS tracking, real-time notifications, and detailed reporting, you'll be able to optimize your operations and take your business to the next level. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.moveitpro.com to schedule a free demo today and see how we can help you move your business forward.